Hello. It feels weird. I'm actually sitting in my office recording this episode proper using my professional microphone. Here's what I want to talk about this week. It's kind of connected to a couple different points that I'm noticing, a couple different threads running through my life. Last Monday was my 55th birthday. Mike gave me, stick with me on this story because it's going to be like, why is she talking about this? Mike gave me a necklace for my birthday. And we don't really celebrate birthdays real big around here for a lot of reasons. Like the older we get, the less stuff we need. I'm also not the kind of person who gets like totally lit up by a whole lot of stuff. I'm just so happy. The happier I get with my life, the less external stuff that I find myself wanting or shopping for. So it's kind of hard to get me a gift. But Mike, I could tell he was really excited to present me with this gift. So he had me open it, and it's a pendant, a necklace. And when I first saw it, I was like, ooh, this is not my particular taste. Okay, I didn't hate it or whatever. I just thought, oh, that's nothing that I would ever pick out for myself. And I thought, that's kind of odd that he would get me this. And he was so excited. He said, let me tell you the whole story behind this. This particular stone is called a merchant stone. And it's meant to bring success to anyone who is building a business or starting a business. And I know you're not starting this business. You've been working on it for a few years, but you're so focused on it right now. And you're doing all this work. And so I wanted to get you something that really would support you in this. And I researched all about it. And this particular stone, it's like a citrine. He's telling me there's two different kinds of citrines and why he picked the exact one he did and how he had another necklace picked out first. But then he realized when he was going to purchase it that he noticed it was a lab-created stone. And he was like, I thought to myself, if this thing is supposed to be carrying energy, being created in a lab can't be a good thing. So then I knew I had to find a natural citrine. And so I went on a hunt for that. And I first saw this like bracelet and I thought about that and I saw earrings. But then I was researching where should you wear this citrine? And it said as close to the heart as possible. So I knew I had to do a pendant. I mean, the level of thought this guy went to. By the way, I know he doesn't listen to these episodes. So that's why I'm speaking so candidly about my initial instinct to the necklace. What else did he tell me? Oh, so then he said, when I picked the setting that I was putting it in, do you notice the shape of it? And I said, yeah, it's an infinity loop. He said, I just thought that was really cool. We share the number 8 because both of our birthdays are on the 8th. And 8th is a very abundant number and the symbol does represent infinity. So he said, I knew I had to go with that. Then I was choosing between white gold and yellow gold. And even though the yellow gold was nice, I just feel like the white gold represents more you and it will look better on your skin. And do you like it? You can take it back if you don't. You can tell me. I mean, he was just so precious about it all. I couldn't love it more. And I said, the amount of thought that you put into this, first of all, coming from a man who a year ago even wouldn't give the idea of energetics or crystals or any kind of woo work, mindset work even, would give that no credence. To see him devote so much time to trying to do this, he said, I really think this is going to make a difference for you. And he was so genuine. We held the necklace and I said, let's set an intention for the necklace because I'm all about having an intention. So I said the most beautiful little saying. We held it together. I went to put it on and the thing slid off onto the ground, slid right off the chain. And I was like, oh my God, this is a bad sign. I'm like, no, let's just try to redo the intention. I don't think it was as good, but I was like, you got to get out of your head, Laura. Set the intention, put it on. And he was like, I love this thing. Every time I said, you know what? I'm not taking it off. I'm just going to leave it on. It's going to be on my neck now, everywhere I go, until I hit this level of visibility and success that I am going for. He said, that's exactly what it's for. This is going to give you the strength and the determination to keep going. I was like, I already have that. There's something else about being recognized or being visible. So I got my citrine on. Every time he sees it, apparently it's called emergent stone. I don't know. I haven't researched it myself. He's like, I cannot get over how good that looks on you. It looks so good on you. I have to agree. Like the actual yellow hue of the stone up against the skin tone of my neck, like it doesn't stand out. It's a nice look. I agree with him. It catches his eye all the time. And he's like, I just love it. People are going to comment about it all the time. So wore it to work. He's like, did anyone say anything? I was like, no, of course not. He's like, Laura, I'm telling you, people can't help but notice this. So what I have noticed is that since I put this thing on, not one person has said anything to me about it, aside from Mike. Not one person. I even wore it out to coffee yesterday. My friend Kiki was in town and we just had the most magical, 4-hour conversation. I was wearing a V-neck tank top. Okay, this thing was on prominent display. Not one word from her. Normally she would notice something and be like, ooh, that's a cool necklace, or that's new. I haven't seen you wear that before. Nothing. Also, one of my grad students earlier last week, they had decorated my door up for my birthday. I don't know how they found out it was my birthday because I do not talk about it, but they just decorated my entire office door. It was so cool. And then one of my grad students came up and said, how was your birthday? What'd you do? Blah, blah, blah. Did you get any good gifts? Which I thought was kind of odd, but I was like, whatever. So I said, well, my husband designed this pendant for me. I got this. And I literally showed it to her and it's like she didn't even see it. She's like, oh, and what else did you do? It was just totally went over it. And it didn't register with me in the moment when that happened. But now then a week later, and I'm thinking, wait a second, not one person has said anything about this. I wonder if it's energetically invisible to other people. And since I'm working on my visibility, which is a whole other thing on Instagram, is this tied to that somehow? Is this showing me that I'm not allowing people to actually see me on some level, or I'm still continuing to make myself and my success invisible? I don't know, because the brain just is going to try to find a meaning for every fucking thing we do, right? So this just, at the very least, this shows me where my thought process is on all of this. Then I realized when I was talking to Kiki, we were talking about our different situations going on and sharing a little bit about the business and everything I'm doing. Hold on, I gotta have a sip of my latte here because I can feel my throat getting dry. So we're talking about it and she's like, I'm loving what you're doing on Instagram with your little daily videos. And I said, well, my views are tanking. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, my actual metrics on Instagram are going down. And it's affecting my other content. Like when I'm doing a regular post or whatever, those views are now going down. I'm sure because the algorithm is like, what the hell is she doing? This isn't consistent. We don't know what she's all about anymore. Who knows why? It's one of those things that just happens. But I was explaining to her, the whole point wasn't to grow my audience. It was to just get comfortable with being visible. And I said, I've got to believe, based on the quality of my work, which has never been better. I've never felt more confident in my actual work, and yet I don't see the growth. And then she asked me, what are you doing? How do you know it's not successful? What are you doing to be more successful or to put your name out there more outside of Instagram? And I was like, well, I'm doing the podcast, which I love, and my Substack. She's like, your Substack is so good. It's like, give me more of that. For whatever reason, in that moment, I remembered, those of you who have been with me since last September will remember this whole journey I went on with the podcast tour. I was like, you know what? Oh my God. I actually hired someone to put together an entire podcast tour for me. And we got to probably the 90-yard line. She helped me work through all of my pitching points and structuring how we were going to put this out there to the different podcasts, 10 to 12 different podcasts for promoting Memo. And then I just stopped. I said, I literally stopped. I didn't log back on to the portal to communicate with her. I didn't return an email from her. I mean, horrible. I shouldn't call it horrible. This is natural human behavior. I see this in my own clients sometimes too. Literally stopped myself. And I don't know why. It doesn't make any logical sense to me because talking is one of my best ways of communicating. Talking on a podcast is the natural way to promote Memo because Memo is 200 episodes of audio. So if somebody's listening to me and relates to me and gets who I am and likes the way that I present information, they're going to freaking love Memo. I get messages I actually got a message this morning from someone who said, I listened to the latest Memo and then I went back to an earlier one and it totally helped me get through this particular situation that I'm in right now. I get messages like that all the time. So what is it about me that is trying to block that visibility? Why don't I want to be seen on that level? I think part of it is that Memo is pretty raw. It is not perfectly packaged in a polished program that you walk through sequentially. It was originally twice a week, so there were just episodes coming out all the time, and it turned into this entire volume of coaching episodes, very short coaching episodes. And then I built this whole AI bot, a custom AI bot, because it became too many episodes to remember which one was what. So I built this bot that you could go in and chat with it, and it will dig down using the same kind of questions that I ask my clients to suggest 3 different episodes that you should listen to and in what order. I was like, okay, it's not about that it's not polished or professional. There's a whole structure there. So what is it? Anyways, back to Kiki. She said, you've got to do that. That is your next growth move. And then I realized, I think it's more about if I do that and it doesn't work, then I'm going to be like, there's nothing left to try, which is ridiculous. As I hear that coming out of my mouth, that sounds ridiculous. So I'm going to look at my calendar when I get to the university this morning. I'm going to look at some days that I can just take off and block to getting that podcast thing wrapped up. I think I actually even committed to doing that on one of these prior episodes back in like December or January. That is, just like I would tell my clients, that is a pending loop that is open right now. And even though I can't feel it consciously, I know in my integrity, right, my inner integrity, that I have breached what I said I was going to do. I'm scared to do it for some reason, even though it doesn't make sense. I think probably because I'm going to be on podcasts where I don't know the people. It's not like I have a relationship with them already. So that feels kind of unsafe to me too. I don't know. I could invent 23 reasons right now why I'm scared to do it. What I need to remember is I just need one reason that it will work out. I can just cling to that one reason to do it. And then all those other reasons why it's going to be scary can also exist. But as long as I point my focus on the one reason it will be good for me, then I know I can't lose. So that's everything that came together for me this week. Feels like a massive shift again. I'm also told the universe this morning, I sent a little message. I said, okay, now none of you count in this experiment because I just told you about the necklace. But I said, the next time, or not next time because it's been 0 times, when someone sees this necklace and compliments me on it or makes a note about it or says something about it, that will be a sign from you, universe, creator of all good things, that I have just unlocked a new layer of visibility, a new layer of success and abundance and comfort with being seen for the frickin' work that I love doing. I've never been more happy with my life and my work. So maybe it's time to let more people in. That's how I feel, but clearly something in me hasn't figured out how to put all those pieces together. So that's what I got for you this week. Thanks for sticking with me, and thank you for sharing a part of your time with me. I hope these episodes help illuminate some portion of your life where you feel like you can relate to another human who's going through a similar journey to where you are. And I hope that it gives you the strength to continue to stay on your path, or to find your path and freaking love it and own it. I want everybody living the life that they have deliberately chosen for themselves. That's the whole game. That's the whole game, and not quitting. If you can do those two things, take quitting off the table and plug yourself onto your path, what else is there? Okay, sending everyone out there so much love and respect. And don't forget to always bet on yourself.